Well, so you guys are just looking at a random table. Hi to all of our friends virtually. We're just finalizing some last minute setups. But I guess while this happens, I'll turn it over to our roundtable.
Thank you. I was gonna give it back.
Yeah.
Are we ready? Yeah, are you guys awake?
Yay.
Yeah, are we awake?
Yeah.
What happened? I lost my assistants and now everybody's energy went down. This is so not fun. Okay, so welcome to Roundtable, you guys. You've survived yet another month. You're all here. We just talked about the color of urine. It's summertime. It also happens in winter time, so make sure you always hydrate. The last thing we want to do is see any of us in the hospital with dehydration issues, things like that. The other thing that I wanted to bring up as a safety moment and part of this in the gathering activities while we're setting things up, I'm just gonna shift some things around. How many of you guys remember that lightning storm we had a couple, a little bit ago? Yeah, nice and fun and scary. How many of you were out camping or thinking about camping during that time frame?
Well, we were here.
We were here, you were there?
I was here.
You were there? You were there? Okay, so it was a real life hazardous weather training moment, kind of, right? We keep our scouts safe, we don't wanna be on water. So that is an annual requirement through Scouting America. So we wanna make sure we keep that certified, the certification, we wanna keep that up. Hi, Roger, I see you. That's actually my other scoutmaster. So we had that lightning event. For those of us that are not out camping, those of us that might be like in an RV glamping it, and we've got awnings and things like that, or ladders, we want to make sure they're out of the way, and we don't release our scouts out into the wild during a hazardous weather event. A couple of us that went to Powderhorn had the same thing happen to us. We had to end up moving in because of lightning. Lightning is not fun. Okay, so how are we going on the text?
Sherry, did you want us to pass these?
You actually, if you guys,
If you want. No, that's fine. Mark says. Mark says now. Okay.
if you want to take one and pass it around. Okay, so that kind of concludes the fun gathering activity. So now we're actually going to switch gears. We're going to be doing the round table. For the attendance moment, if you're on the Zoom call, put your name and your unit in the Zoom chat for the attendance. And for those of you that are here right now, there is a sign up form, so go ahead and sign in and do the same thing for that. And now, welcome to beautiful Camp Thunderbird. We have our fabulous presenters. Thank you, Paul, for being here. John, thank you for being here. Mark, thank you for being here. It's your job? I thought you wanted to come hang out with us.
It's my job to be here.
I thought you just wanted to hang out with us.
It's like one of the things.
It's one of the things.
It's one of the things in my job description.
Okay.
I gotta show them around to. Part of that.
That's okay. All right, so now, without further ado, we're gonna start with the Pledge of Allegiance, the Scout Oath, and the Scout Law, so, Grace and Kate.
You don't have a flag
There's a flag on every uniform.
in here.
You guys need to go grab a flag.
No.
All right.
No. Yours.
Yeah.
We
There we go.
All right.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in the Scout oath.
On my honor, I'll do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
German Scout law.
A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
All right, so we've got some important recaps. Thank you all. Thanks, Kaylee. Bye. All of the roundtables are pretty much available online at YouTube. Mark, can you put that in the chat? Sweet. Okay, a couple other things. Everyone knows, raise your hand if you know that we are becoming Scouting America. Okay. So there's branding material for use. We're gonna make that available as well in the chat. If you're here, see me afterwards and we can get that link to you guys. Now we have the Cub Scout.
She handed it out.
Oh, okay, that's already out. Okay. So Cub Scout, we have growing Cub Scouts to start a pack now. It's 3 youth and 3 adults, so this is gonna be way easier.
Can I just say, as someone who started the pack last year, I'm jealous. I know, this is super exciting.
Wait, do you want to talk about it? Because since you started a pack last year, if you want to read the changes on it.
Sure, I would love to read this.
That would be awesome, Mary. Thank you.
I feel so special. Yeah.
It's mostly just so you can get the paperwork started.
So I think we had to have 5 scouts and
5 adults.
5 adults. And which
Including
doesn't
kids.
sound very much, but like it was. Because we only had 2 kids.
Need a moment.
Parents of those kids, and we had to have a family member, which was the hardest position to
Fit it in wherever you want.
fill. You have to have a den leader, which is fine. So 3 youth, 3 adults, which is Cub Master, den leader, and the PA. Andrew. The
After this.
Okay.
The charter organization rep, the committee chair, the unit leader, and then 2 other positions, whatever committee members you make.
So, yeah, you need a charter organization representative.
Okay.
You need a unit leader, so the front facing person for the youth, the COR, who's the representative of the organization.
I think so. Thank you.
As well as the representative to the unit, and then you need at least 1 committee chair, and additionally 2 people to be on that committee to officially start a unit. With the new rollout.
Okay, I was like, that's not 3. Okay.
Yeah.
The new rule allow is.
Oh, I see, so the new
Yeah, we're
rollout is the 3
There's nobody
primary.
in the waiting room, so
Okay.
if they're in the waiting room, they'll show up.
COR, the committee chair, so charter organization rep, the committee chair, as well as the unit leader. And there's some other nuances depending on the type of unit. For example, it changes.
So
like
hold on,
some-
just checking, because that's not what this says, so I'm
That is
wondering.
not what this says at all.
There's like 6 people talking to you right now. So Mary, since you're up front, I'm gonna listen to your voice.
I was just wondering because it looks like it's saying CM, Cub Master, DL, Den Leader, and I still don't know what DA is, but.
Den leader assistant,
Oh.
That makes more sense.
What is this?
or assistant den leader, sorry, I should say.
So is that the new, or is it?
Assistant den leader.
Oh.
That person would then be part of the key 3 since there's only 3 representatives on the unit as a whole.
Okay,
Hand that over there.
okay, sorry, finish your thoughts.
No, you're all good. We're also finding out with this information as it goes, so it looks like they changed it from the committee to assistant, but still, the 3 adults who are there would be the key 3.
Sure,
That's the
so-
scouting beliefs.
So take 3 adults and you take them to council, and if they say, yep, that's the right one, that's the right one, because apparently it's still in flux.
So it's
It
fluid.
sounds like, no, it sounds like I've made an error and
Okay.
I haven't been updated, and that's my fault.
Okay.
I apologize for speaking up.
And it says it can be either with a charter, so you can find your charter organization, which for us wasn't hard, it we had it, but that can be a huge downfall in trying to get PAC started, is finding an organization that's willing to charter your unit, and now it's, you can have it registered with the council instead, which of course streamlines the new process, and it's the perfect time to do it with the new rollout of the new program on June 1st, which is also awesome, so there you go.
Thank you, Mary. John,
Oh, yes.
I would like to invite John Spiegelberg for a moment.
Okay, what's going on? And
I would in turn would like-
In turn, would like to invite Mark Daniel to come forward, please. Mark Daniel's in trouble. So, Mark Daniel has recently completed the requirements to earn his Arrowhead Award. Basically, the Arrowhead Award is the commissioner equivalent of that you've gone through. You've been a commissioner for a year, and you've met certain performance requirements during that time period, including making contacts and doing, other commissionery things. So now Mark will get to have the opportunity to have his Arrowhead on his sleeve, like so. So, congratulations, Mark. Thank you for all your work for scouting.
Mark? Okay, so I just want to remind everyone, sometimes we get busy with our lives and our days and, our jobs at troop level and cub level and district and council and national and our jobs, right? But why are we here? What's the number one reason that we're here for?
The kids.
Scouts, yeah. So we are helping to make an impact with our youth and giving them some guidance, and they're learning some really cool groovy tools along the way, right? And some leadership skills. So that brings us to our other topic. So I just talked about national. Now we're going to talk about district, and we're also going to be talking about a little bit about the fall recruitment frenzy. You guys all know about that. That's still going on. So the number one rule when we're out is always be recruiting. It should be like a year-long theme, right? So you're going to Fred Meyer's, you're picking up some milk or creamer for your coffee because you're sad and you forgot that 3 days ago. Throw on a scout shirt, go out, talk to someone, help someone, be a friend, be kind, be courteous, right? So we do have a fall frenzy that's available on a Google Drive. So if you want to get that afterwards, come see us. Or those of you who are on chat, you can definitely, get that online. And it's right. Thanks, Mark. So you can pick that up. The other thing is we have the Scout Ranger program, and that's also available online. And now I have a plea from all of you. You knew this moment was coming. I would be asking for something from someone, right? How many of you have benefited personally from Fred's Closet? Yeah? Okay, so Fred's Closet stays alive through volunteers, right? So each one of us makes a difference. So you don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to do it a whole bunch of times, but let's try and rotate so we can keep this moving along. If you're at a garage sale and you see a scout shirt, try and buy it, turn it in. Fred's Closet gets recycled. My husband and I hit up eBay constantly. You can find some really good deals on it and some very cool patches from some ghost districts that no longer exist. So Fred's Closet, you can either email Mark Daniel or myself. I think, I'm pretty sure you can email Tyler as well and John as well. And we can get you guys hooked up on the schedule to get you guys to breathe some life into it just by donating.
Fred's Closet is also open the first and third Saturday of every month.
Thank you for that, John.
So, 10 to 2
10 to 2.
ish.
Okay, so we've got Fred's Closet. So remember, sign up, donate. Let's keep some scouts going. Finances should not be a prohibitor for these kids. Also, we have the coverage, so you should have a flyer that's been passed around. A couple of us, quite a few of us in this room are going to be there, so come visit our smiling faces. We would love to see you all there. And that is October 18th through the 20th. And that's at Grace Harbor.
Grace Harbor Fairgrounds.
Mark, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I was pointing.
Or William? I'm having teacher flashback moments.
Yeah, so the recovery.
I'll get over in the corner.
Stand in the corner.
So the recovery is October 18th through the 20th. You can come just the 19th for the day program or camp over the weekend. Camping doesn't increase the cost. The cost is $35 for youth, $25 for adults. Of course, we need volunteers, people to help. It's gonna be centered around Joda and Jotty, which are short for Jamboree on the Air, Jamboree on the Internet, World Scouting Event. So hopefully we can talk to scouts around the world. We'll also have shooting, range and target sports, fishing, and then other things that are focused around the International Spirit Award. Yes, thank you. So that's it. Grace Harbor County Fairgrounds, Elmer, Washington.
Okay, so what's everybody doing this weekend? Hanging out with me, yeah, Olympic Harbor Days. Olympic Harbor Days, right? So swing by Olympic Harbor Days. The other thing that I do want to ask real quick, and then we're going to move towards your presentation because I feel like I'm sucking up a lot of air that I don't need to. How many of you know about recruiting bins and how fabulous they are through the district? Yeah?
Recruiting what?
Recruiting bins. So we can go online. So recruiting bins are provided by the district and council and national, and they're in these fabulous little totes that you can take to a recruiting event.
Okay.
And it's got all the good giveaway fun stuff that we all like to see. There's a couple people here in this room that I have met successfully through a recruiting event and those bins. So I'm very thankful for those moments. At your unit level, we're gonna move a little faster now because I feel like, am I okay on time, John?
Yeah, you're fine. I'll get out the big cane if you're going over.
Okay.
Cane it, comedically putting you off stage.
All right, hold on. I'll do the tap dancing. Okay, so for the unit level, the annual required position specific training that you need are, do we know what the two are?
YPT.
And hazardous weather, yeah. For camp out specifics, we have Blue, which is coming up, and IOLS. And then, of course, we have position-specific training that does happen. We have committees, charter organization reps. We also know them as COREs, right? The acronym.
Yep.
And then your unit leaders. And we should always be prepping for change and prepping for recharter. So, John, when should units start thinking about recharter? Just off the
Today.
nice. Okay, so when I get home, I should be thinking about recharter with my troop, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And in
Okay.
fact, recharter is such an important topic. I believe we are talking about it next month, Mark, right?
We just did a commercial for our next roundtable.
Right, Mark? It's important to note there are significant changes to the way recharter will function this year, specifically this year. More significant than we have probably ever seen since we moved to internet recharter.
Yeah. So just keep in mind, recharter's coming up. We're gonna be talking about it next roundtable, so hopefully y'all will join us again. I know you might be boring. Some of my former students used to fall asleep in my class, so I understand. It's fine. Okay,
Well, I
so
hear there's gonna be an animated presenter next month.
is there? Are we gonna do tap dance?
No.
No? Okay. You're killing me. Who's the animated?
I don't know.
Is it?
It's a guy.
Is
It's
it
a guy. Yeah, it's me.
It's you?
I think it's me.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
Probably. Well, yeah, I think so. We need to double check that, but yeah.
Okay, we'll double check. So Baloo training is September 6th through the 7th. Guess where it's located at? It's here. It's at
I thought it was at the mall.
It's at a mall?
I thought it was at the mall.
Okay, and then we have IOLS, the same thing, that's October 19th through the 20th, that's also here, not at the mall. And then we're gonna talk about a couple of things, and let's see if we can move a little bit going, a little bit further. So, how many of you grew up in the 80s? Kind of, yeah, dodgeball?
Up in the 80s?
Or you were around that age when we had dodgeball and it was a little hardcore?
Dodgeball was outlawed in the schools I went to.
I was technically born in the 80s.
Technically born in the 80s?
70s, maybe.
How many
to
of
play
you know
dodgeball.
about Gaga Ball? Yay! So Paul, what is Gaga Ball?
I have no idea, no.
You
have this ring. This octagonal ring, and I don't know all the rules. In fact, I was looking for people who do, but you have the ball in the
I was
ring.
gonna say, I bet somebody in the back could tell you.
Ball, and you have to hit people below the waist, no hitting above the waist.
Okay.
If you get hit by the ball, you have to leave the ring. If you don't get hit by the ball, your idea is to hit it either against someone else or against the wall. It can bounce off the wall once and then someone has to hit it. I think I got most of them.
Tyler?
Yeah, exactly. So Gaga ball, originally called Israeli dodgeball.
And so much.
It was invented in Israel as their version of dodgeball. You have, for lack of a better term, an octagon of death with, a bunch of people inside of it. And their job is they can underhand hit a softball or a dodgeball or some sort, right, kickball, and it bounces off the back. And there's kind of two ways to play. Essentially, if it hits you at all, you're out. So if it hits the back of your leg or the front of your leg, or you can play it shin style, just meaning if it hits you in front. The rules are it has to hit you below the waist, just like Paul said. That prevents people from getting hit in the head. But it can get pretty intense. But it's not camping, but it can be at your camping event.
I hear, old Brody told me that we might be building a pit here.
Word of the Arrow,
there's a
a
little
phenomenal
money.
organization that we're gonna learn more about
It
later,
was
has
amazing.
put together some funds so that people who come out to camp will have that opportunity. And I don't wanna steal anyone's thunder, but I'm sure that we might hear a little bit more about that later. And this would be a great opportunity to say the Order of the Arrow is a wonderful organization that I would encourage all youth to join, and adults.
You had to be an octagon of death.
You know, we had me at the fabulous organization, and I think we got a couple more things, and then Paul, I'm gonna bring you up here. And I get to learn more. I'm relatively new to scouting, so I got to learn a little bit about Order of the Arrow at Powderhorn. Thank you, Bruce. I got to learn a little bit there. Real quick, I know I ask a lot. I seem to ask a lot. I am sorry. I apologize. Not really. I'm doing this for Scouts, so I actually do believe in these moments. Assessments and unit commissioners, we do need them. So if you, John, who would they talk to if they wanted to become a, I don't know, a unit commissioner?
Well, they can come and talk to me as the Olympic District Commissioner. I also will have a stack of my handy dandy business cards here that I will put up there so people can grab them.
Those up there for you. Stack that said business cards. Remember,
So-
volunteer, talk to John.
The commissioner's fun. A lot of fun.
We also need merit badge counselors. We will always need merit badge counselors, so make sure you volunteer for that as well if you've got time. You don't have to volunteer for all of these positions. You can say no. I've been told by a couple people that saying no is entirely acceptable. I still have to learn this lesson.
Yeah, you'll get there someday. You'll get there someday.
I'll get there someday. Are you sure? Okay. 10 years from now, we will talk about that. And on that note, without further ado, we are going to bring up Paul, and he is going to talk about the Order of the Arrow. And he is going to answer some questions.
Great, thank you.
So,
My name is Paul Taylor, and I am what is called the Lodge Advisor for Nisqually Lodge Order of the Arrow. So that means I'm the council level head of the Order of the Arrow. But I have a whole group of people, just like we do here in the district, to help me. And I'm not going to introduce them all to you, but suffice it to say, I do have Mr. Jordan Mitchell, who is our ceremonies advisor here with us. And then my wife Julie, I have to answer to her because she's the section associate advisor, which is a level above council. She helps coordinate with the section. I have a couple of quick things to tell you, and then we have a short video. I'll stick to my time frame, and then I'll answer questions. But the Order of the Arrow was founded in 1915, the summer of 1915, at Treasure Island Scout Camp near Philadelphia, owned by the Philadelphia Council, by two 24-year-old camp staffers who were also college students. They wanted to recognize those in their camp who were going above and beyond to serve their fellow scouts, exemplifying the Skeleton Law in their daily lives and helping people in a cheerful way, even when there was tough stuff to do. So I'm going to let that, if we can do that first. It's about 3 minutes long, I think. Not the 11, but the other.
Is this one?
That one.
Okay.
Don't judge this guy by the guide to safe scouting though, as he starts his fire.
Fire bass.
I also need to make sure I'm sharing, sorry. For folks on that can see, we got that. We're gonna check that box and we're gonna do this. All right, so Zoomland should see it now too. Here we go.
Sound.
Oh, it should.
Every great tradition has a beginning. This one began in Philadelphia. It was a day of an indescribable feeling of expectancy and mystery that grew more palpable than the humidity that hangs over the valley of the Delaware River in summer. A scouting movement that would spark a legacy, affecting countless millions, would begin on this date. Goodman and Edson had the desire to find a way to emphasize the ideals of scouting. And so at the ages of only 24, they endeavored to design a novel camp society, an order that would recognize those that best exemplified the scout oath and law in their daily lives. Camp Director Goodman was the chief of the fire. Edson was the sachem. On this night, they would initiate the first ceremony of the Wamakdindink Wingolausic with the Hemaway.
Robert Craig and Gilpin Allen, please step forward.
The first two scouts, elected by their troops, prepared to be inducted.
Each candidate must perform an hour tests. The tests are designed to demonstrate brotherhood and service. First, you need to scale the steep elevation to reach the brotherhood tree.
The first inductees forged through the darkness, but help was never far away.
After, you will attempt to encircle the tree in brotherhood.
But here, you will never be alone.
Finally, you must break this bundle of sticks.
Only with the assistance of the chief of the fire did this become a simple task. In showing the first inductees the importance of working together, the spirit of service, united, they began the legacy of the Order of the Arrow.
Okay, so, we had 15 of our scouts go to the National Order of the Arrow Conference this summer in Boulder, Colorado. Mr. Spielberg was also there with, on the staff. And we also had Spielberg, and then we also had, another person on the staff. And, we also had 5 at-home candidates. So that was exciting. But at the National Order of the Arrow Conference this year, for the 3rd or 4th time in its history, the Order of the Arrow adopted a new vision, mission, and purpose. Actually, it's a new, for the 5th time they have a new purpose, but for the first time they wrote a vision. And over the last, we were, as you heard, founded in 1915, so it's been over 100 years. The Order of the Arrow has recognized scouts that exemplify the scouts and law in their daily lives, which we hope is every scout, right? So ultimately, our goal is to have every scout in the Order of the Arrow. The Order of the Arrow is the National Honor Society, just like a school has an honor society to recognize those who excel at being a student. We want folks who exemplify being a scout to be and excel at that, to be recognized. As an integral part, we have some advanced leadership opportunities, and we're focusing on peer leadership. So not just older kids leading younger kids, but younger youth leading their peers of the same age. And members are defined by the fellowship they share, service to others, commitment to personal growth. So go on to the next slide, please.
Oh, sure.
The vision is, and we've never had one before, the vision is to be why scouts stay in scouting. The mission, the next slide, is to achieve the mission of Scouting America through transformative fellowship that ignites limitless scouting journeys. So essentially, we're wanting to be the spark that keeps young people engaged in scouting past the age of 21, coming back as adults, being involved, staying involved after they get the Eagle. If they get it at 14, we want them to stay involved till they're 18 or 21 and so forth. Next slide. So now the purpose is bigger. It used to be about camping, cheerful service, and leadership. And it's still much the same. We've maintained the traditions, but we forge lifelong bonds among leaders in scouting by, next slide, recognizing those who exemplify the scout oath and law in their daily lives. And then this next part is really important. And through that recognition, cause others to desire to do it as well. So that's why we hope that when we induct new members from your troop, the rest of the members say, well, boy, I want to be elected when I get there. When I get my first class, I want to get those 15 days and nights camping. I want to be the guy who helps other people. So next, reinforce a life purpose of cheerful service to others. Next, create and deliver peer-led, adult-guided, advanced leadership experiences for scouts and scouters that positively impact their unit, community, and ultimately our nation. Now, just to translate that, we're here to support your unit. We're here to support the district, and we're here to support the council. We do not want to be a group that takes your scouts away from you. we emphasize in all the training that we do, that your first duty is to your unit, to your fellow scouts. We often say, even in the ceremony, those who chose you need you. And one of the unique things about the Order of the Arrow is that the members are chosen by their peers, not by the members of the Order of the Arrow. Now, some of their peers may be members of the Order of the Arrow, but they're chosen by the members of their troop. And we, as the election committee, ask the members of their troop, who among you here is the type of person that you want to go camping with? Who helps you? Who gathers the firewood when it's your turn to make the fire? Who comes and helps you clean the dishes, even though it's not their turn? Who cheers you up when you're feeling down? So that's who's exemplifying the Scout Oath and Law. Last slide for this part, be an integral part of Scouting America and encourage participation in all it offers through units, outdoor adventures, national events to further the scouting experience. So again, the big emphasis now is, and as it has been in the past, but we're putting a new emphasis on it, is to be an integrated part of scouting. So it's not, are you on the NYLT staff or are you in the OA? It's like, I'm proud to be on the NYLT staff and an Order of the Arrowman. Are you a camp staffer or are you in the OA? And I'm proud to be in the camp staff and I'm a proud OA. So we want to be integrated into everything that the council does. Next. So a lot of people have questions about the election process. How many scoutmasters do we have here? So I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this. It's not a big, and how about online, do we know?
Yeah, we have 3 online.
Okay, so we'll go through this fairly quickly. Believe me, we could do a lot more on this and we will with you when we do your election. But for those of you who are cub leaders, you should be aware of how our members are selected. And so each unit with qualified scouts is urged to hold an election sometime between January 1st and April 15th. And that election should be at a unit meeting, a regular unit meeting that has as many of your scouts attending it as possible. Then we hold ordeals throughout the year, and those who are elected get to go through an ordeal. And we would love to also do an OA presentation, even if a Boy Scout unit doesn't have eligible members. Now, what's an eligible member? Next slide. Membership qualities. Prior to an election, the unit leader gets to decide who stands for election. So they have a say. But the people they're selecting from have to be first class rank, or for Sea Scouts ordinary, or for adventurers. There's another one, I can't remember.
I believe it's venturing. Is it venturing or is it Pathfinder?
There is a video which if we don't have the time, I won't show, but if we do have the time, I'll show you, which gives a little bit more of this detail. But they have to have 15 days and nights of camping. And of that 15, one of them has to be a long-term camp. So what this does for you as a unit is it encourages your scouts to go on your campgrounds. Because if they want to stand for election in the OA, they have to, within 2 years, accomplish those 15 days and nights of regular camping on a scout outing, or on a Sea Scout ship outing, or on a venture outing. And they have to have at least one of those be a long-term camping experience, something like summer camp or a cruise for the Sea Scouts. And then we emphasize this, and this is the part we have the most trouble with, because people think of elections as popularity contests, or as I have to choose between this person and that person. And this election is, of all these youth who are eligible, who has helped you in the Scouts? Who has been exemplifying the Scout oath and law in their daily life? And it could be every one of them. We hope that it was every one of them, so that they will vote for everyone on that list. And that's the hardest part to get across, is that you're not picking Jim over Joe. You're saying, is Jim a good scout that exemplifies the Scout oath and law? Yes. Is Joey a good scout who exemplifies the scout oath and law? Yes. And so the only time they wouldn't check is if they say, oh, he never helps. He doesn't, it's not a good scout yet, but he will be someday. So they might not vote for somebody. In most cases, in most troops, everyone should get every vote. And that's what we're hoping for. Next. So we set aside this thing. This is what I told you about the 100% attendance. After they show up for scouting, an election team will come from our chapter. And they will go through this with your scouts. They'll tell you some of the fun things that the Order of the Arrow does. And then they will do the election. A person to be elected has to receive 51% of the attending scouts' votes. And we emphasize that if people who don't know the people shouldn't vote at all, they should just put their ballot in their pocket that won't be counted, because they have to have 51 of the ballots turned in. So not of the attending scouts, but of the ballots turned in. And if they turn in a ballot, a blank ballot, it's like voting against all the scouts. But if they don't turn in a ballot, it's not a vote against or for, it's just not counted at all. So that is one thing that some people miss. Next slide. So the Nisqually Lodge has several goals about supporting your scout youth, and this includes Cub Scout. We would like to provide leadership opportunities for both youth and adults. Now, in Boy Scout troops, this would be the Order of the Arrow representative and an Order of the Arrow advisor. So if you're in the enviable position of not having enough jobs for people who need stuff to do, I don't know how many of you are there, but if you need something for more parents to do, or a parent says, I want to do something, but you don't want them being assistant scoutmaster, you can put them in as OA advisor. And they can advise this OA rep to come to our meetings that Joyce runs with her son. Her son runs them, she advises him. And then come back to the troop and advised by the adult, deliver the information that they learned at chapter meeting about what the next activity is and what the next service project is and so forth. We also encourage our Order of the Arrow members to support unit service projects, not only their own, but let's say you have a big service project planned and you're worried that you're not going to get a lot of people out. You can send an email to us at the OA and we'll put out the word. If you're looking for service, Troop 110 needs extra help with this cool project that they've got next Saturday. And we'll put the word out and encourage people to come. This also works for Eagle Project. I would say maybe 30% of the people who attended my two sons' Eagle projects were people they met in the Order of the Arrow and supported their Eagle projects, not just people from our church. We had people from our church, people from our church, but we also had lots of OA. And then encourage supportive unit activities and provide additional activities for unit OA members. That's where we say, if somebody comes to us and they say, I have a troop event, I can't come to the fall fellowship. We say, that's great. You go to your troop event because that's where you should be. We also hope that troops will look at our calendar and say, let's not plan a troop event on top of fall fellowship so that our OA members can go to fall fellowship as well as go to our troop events. Next. Oops. We also want to support district and council events. We can do parking, security, activity direction, setup, cleanup. We can run stations. We can take water out to stations. We can do lots of service projects. We have done these for Camporee, Klondike, Night Hike, and Wash Jam, but we can and hope that we will also do them for Cavalry, which I had never heard of. Sounds really cool. I hope that every new kid who just joined scouting comes to Cavalry. I hope every pack that does recruiting comes to Cavalry. Our plan is, and I don't know, Mark, if you guys found the the thing. Okay, we have a goggle ball pit portable. This thing is really heavy and hard to put together. But we have hopefully a team that Mark's putting together that's going to bring and set this thing up. And then we're working on getting a group from the OA to come and run the goggle ball for you, so that we can show off the OA to all these new Cubs and also be supportive of the cover reef. And so if there's other things that we can do, let's get together and put out the word. If you need parking people or things like that, because we want to be the support team for events. Next, provide service to council camping program. This was our core mission for many, many years, support the council camping program, encourage camping. And we still do this and we still believe in it. We did publish a Where to Go Camping booklet event. It's actually online on our website, buried somewhere. I have to go figure out how to get to it. But it's there, and it's mostly information at this point about national parks, county parks, and so forth. But we are always trying to get new information. So the ideal of a Where to Go Camping book is every troop tells us their best camping spots. We publish it in a document and we send it out to everybody so that you can see, oh, I never knew you could camp at XYZ Park. We also encourage participation in campouts through our 15 days and nights plan. Next. We also support Camp Thunderbird. These tables and chairs, we contributed the money and purchased. Paint on the walls in the dining hall, we painted that. These signs, we helped provide the funds to create and produce those signs. We built the stairs for the dining hall, built stairs for mini decks and some campfire bowls, and we are slowly building a goggle ball pit up here next to yeah, over there. Over there next to the Dale O Center, right on the edge of the marsh. And
something else we built a long time ago, back when I still had hair. There's an overhang over there, you know, wherever, at the across the street.
Yes, yes.
We built that on my ordeal.
Oh, yeah.
When I was 15.
Our job is to be supportive of the council camp. Next. And we see new possibilities to support Cub Scout. There is a little bit of a challenge there. We used to do crossover. But the concern about cultural appropriation was raised. And so we don't do anything Native American based at Cub Scout events. We're currently doing, we use button blankets and hats at our ceremonies, but by the end of 2025, we have to have either founded a relationship with a local tribe that gives us permission to do that, or stop doing that. And we want to be respectful. And so we can't do a Native American ceremony for you, but we could support any other kind of ceremony. The trail to the Arrow of Light, first class, things like that. So just keep that in mind. We can also do all sorts of things like serving cake and helping support Cub Scout recruitment events like we talked about. Maybe run a knot gauntlet at a recruitment event, things like that. So we want to work closely with the district to find out, and the council to find out where we can help. Next. Okay, now I'm going to tell you about some of the really special, cool operations and opportunities that are available to Order the Arrow members. Operation Arrow is a service crew for the National Jamboree. My son got to serve on it. Connor Mitchell, Jordan's son, served on it. They had a blast. They worked those kids almost to the end of their energy.
They had a good time.
And they loved every minute of it. They got cool hats to wear and they had a good time. They got to be security for show events. They got to be the person controlling the line at some of the activity stations. They got to do some gathering of helmets or distribution of helmets for the zip lines. They just got to do lots of different work at the National Jamboree. Next. The National Order of the Arrow Conference. This is some of our crew that just went, contingent that just went to Boulder, Colorado. We had a great pre-tour time. We had a wonderful time at the event with lots of classes, learned great things, learned about this new mission, and had a blast. And the youth raised a lot of their own money to go on that, and it was fairly reasonable in its cost. Next. Section Conclave, the big party of the Order of the Arrow. Last year it was in Fairbanks, Alaska. This is our Raven and my son, Chief. And then this is where we found, in the local park, we found a Raven statue. So we of course had to do a picture on it. So we went, we did a post-conclave sightseeing tour for this one. And we got to stay in this really cool house. And as we're walking around Costco, getting ready to buy our supplies, the deli manager comes out, sees the Cubs scout uniforms, asks what we've been doing. Turns out he's the section chief from 1994 or something like that. So that was cool, a neat connections.
Where's Conclave this year?
Conclave is right here at Camp Thunderbird on September 13th through 15th. We have 81 members of our group already signed up. We need more. We're the host lodge. We get to do all of the support work. There are 149 people signed up to attend, so you do the math. We have twice as many as anybody else.
As we should.
That's right. And I'm very disappointed in Tacoma, which is Seattle, because they only have, what, 31 or something. The gauntlet is thrown down. They need to come up, step up. Next. And OA High Adventure. Now, I can't say enough about this one. You should go to High Adventure with your unit if you can. My son went to Philmont Scout Ranch with his troop and had a wonderful week or 2 weeks of 1 week of hiking. And then the next year, he got to go back as a member of the Order of the Arrow Trail Crew, where he did trail work on Mount Phillips and built a trail, or some parts of the trail, and then got to do his own group, his crew that he's working with for a week, from all over the United States, formed a bond and got to go out on the trail, and they got to set their own set of places to go. Same is true at the Florida Sea Base. Same is true at the Wilderness Voyage in the Charles L. Summers Canoe Base. And the same is true at Summit Experience. Now, my son has been to 1, 2, 3 of them. He's now going to age out, so he can't go to the 4th one, but he can go as an adult sometime and support it. Others have gone to these. They're excellent experiences.
Paul?
Yes.
Just real quick on those high adventure activities, maybe for some reason your troop isn't able to get to the high adventure activity. You can still get there if you're away. That's it.
Great. So troop leaders, if you need more information on elections, email me at prt6179@gmail.com, and I can send you a nice link to a video that you can watch at your leisure. And I'll take any questions that you have about it. Thank you.
Any more slides?
No, this is it.
All right.
You bet.
Can you give that email again, sir?
PRT6179.
I have a question.
Gmail.
Sorry.
Yeah, you guys also contact me, I can forward it to.
Right.
Put you guys in touch.
Cool.
So if somebody wants to reach out and connect with, hey, I need some OA help for my event, or I want to do an election, or I have a question, who do they call?
They
Who
would
do they
contact
go?
the lodge chief.
The lodge chief.
The lodge chief.
How do they figure all these things out?
The lodge chief, there should be a connection on,
You.
yeah, you can contact me.
Contact.
And I'll get you that information.
Yeah.
But there are emails for the lodge that connect directly from the lodge page, which can be found under programs on the council website under Order the Arrow.
Or
And at the bottom.
by going to Nisqually115.org.
Right, there we go.
I have.
No
a question.
question.
So, oh, sorry, Jordan,
Go
go ahead.
ahead.
You sure?
Yep, I'll just go after you.
Okay, I'm super new to scouting.
Okay.
So I came in sometime around December, January. So is there a length of time that I've got to be in as an adult to?
Now, adults is an interesting case. You still have to have at this point, unless they change it next week, but, you still have to have the 15 days of night camping over a 2-year period.
Okay.
Including one long-term camp. But after that, you don't have first class or any of those things. But what we're looking for is the same thing the district's looking for, people that are gonna help us. So, your unit can nominate 3 adults for every 2, I'm trying to remember this.
It's 2/3.
For every 2 members elected, I think, or something. Anyway, the Scoutmaster is a freebie. Scoutmaster can always be nominated if he or she is not a member of the order. You do not need to count against. But we have to have the camping. So, still have to have the camping.
I will work on that.
But
Okay.
you can be nominated any year. And what that nomination is a 2-page form that's supposed to be filled out by your committee. And I don't know what happens in this meeting. Anyway. By your committee, although that doesn't apply to troops, so it's okay. By your committee, who then sent to us.
Okay.
Me, and then I have to have a meeting with Tyler and the council scout executive. And the council camping chair, 4 of us, and we get to look at all those and decide. We've rarely rejected one. If we rejected one, you should worry, so. That's right.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm gonna let it go. That was answered.
Okay, so, okay, we got a couple minutes, we're gonna zoom through real fast. So I was going to do a YouTube video on why scouts, on what they like about scouts, but we actually have one of our newest scouts in my troop of grace who has volunteered to tell us a little bit about why he likes scouting. You can come up here, or you can stand and sit, or you can do whatever is comfortable.
I'm Grace. I'm one of the new scouts. I just joined a little while ago, and I really enjoyed scouting because I made a lot of good friends. I got really into it, and I feel like I could be really involved in this. I feel like I'm doing this.
I'm very proud of you.
So what's your favorite part of scouting?
Probably the hiking and being friends.
Very cool.
So how many hikes have you gone on? And when did you join?
I went about a month ago, yeah.
Awesome.
And I went to 8 caves with my troop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless you're afraid of the dark.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so much grace. My theme is kind of the newbie person into, I guess I'm not gonna be able to use that much longer, am I? The whole new thing, I'm gonna have to like ditch that
Goes
shtick,
for a while.
find a new one. So I like Commissioner Chats by the Fire, that's like what I envision Roundtable as, where we're all kind of sitting around a campfire, now we're kind of like toning down, we're getting ready to end the night. Please be safe out there, be mindful of the weather, be mindful of your training. How about your fellow scouts? And just be a better you, which I actually got from Roger. Thank you, Roger. That was a shout out to you. And now we're gonna do our commissioner minutes. Where I'm not gonna be talking, and we're gonna bring up Mark, and then we're gonna bring up John.
Yay.
Alrighty, I found on Allen Scouting this really cool article. It's a little long, but I thought we should read it because it kind of goes into the OA presence that we have tonight. So thousands of years ago, in an area near 300 miles north of what would eventually become San Francisco, 2 saplings simultaneously sprung up from the damp ground. Instead of fighting each other for resources like water, light, and food from the soil, the saplings seemingly decided there were enough nutrients to share. So the two tiny trees grew together side by side over the years. They became fused together to become one tree, becoming even stronger in the process. Now, this tree is more than 238 feet tall and more than 23 feet wide at its base. It is considered a double trunk redwood since it's basically two trunks fused into one. If your arm span was 90 feet, you could literally give this tree a hug. It is like it lives in Jedediah Smith Redwood State Park near Crescent City, California. A park that was established in 1929 to preserve redwoods just like this one. But out of all that, it was the name of the tree that caught my eye. This mighty specimen is known as Boy Scout tree. This is a picture of the tree. And lots of ancient redwood trees have names. There's El Diego de Norte, the one with the wildest branches. There's Juggernaut, the world's 9th largest tree by volume, and Hailstorm, the world's 4th largest tree by volume, and the largest in Jedediah Smith Redwood State Park. The tallest tree in the park is named New Hope. It's more than 356 feet tall, but relatively skinny with a width of only 16 feet. And the tree that started off as two trees that eventually merged into one is called Boy Scout tree. Many of the stories on the internet about this tree, and trust me, I read a lot of them, claims that it got its name from the idea that the two trunks look like a scout salute. Now, I am not a scouting historian, however, astute observers will note that while the Cub Scout salute uses 2 fingers, members of Scouts, BSA Venture, and Sea Scouts use 3-finger salute. The 2-finger salute originates the Wolf Cubs Handbook, originally written by Lord Baden-Powell in 1916, because 2 fingers resemble the ears of a wolf. Likewise, the 3-finger salute has been around from the beginning. In Scouting for Boys, Baden-Powell wrote that the salute presents three things: honor, God, and country, helping others and obeying the scout law. Would a tree with 2 trunks be named after Boy Scout salute? When that salute uses three fingers, it seems possibly unlikely. The more likely story is one that can be pieced together from the National Park Service History Electronic Library. Smith Redwood State Park is part of the Redwood National Forest. According to NPS history, Boy Scout Tree and the trail that leads to it, called Boy Scout Tree Trail, are named in honor of Jack Green, the sheriff of Del Norte County from 1919 to 1935. Green, it turns out, was famous for being the first to locate the double trunk specimen redwood tree. It is not known exactly when Green found the tree, but this much is known. In 1922, Green and a few of his friends founded Troop 10 in Crescent City, a Scout BSA unit that's still alive and well to this day. As part of the Crater Lake Council, at some point around this same time, a bridge was built over Mill Creek and what is now known as Hollow Hill Road in 1950. A group of local scouts formally dedicated the bridge to Breen. It's now known as Jack Breen Bridge. Over the years, Boy Scout Trail has become one of the more popular hikes in Jedediah Smith Redwood State Park. It is 5.3 miles and relatively flat. It climbs over only at 750 feet. With abundant huge trees in interest and progressive in a difference environment, the extraordinary Boy Scout Tree Trail isn't so much a hike as a showcase of the world's best redwood scenery. Oh, one of the trails, there's signs that reads BS Tree. No, not that kind of BS. So with that kind of goes into what we were talking about and the new brand and us and the change of the name. So that tree grew together and grew as a and bonded together, and now it's flourishing. And that's what Scouting America is moving on in the future.
Now we're gonna bring it to the end of the show. I'm gonna introduce John. It's your turn now. I'm gonna go tap dance off.
I suppose I need to say something
Yes.
meaningful.
And like,
Oh, that was a tough act to
good
follow.
night report.
Let's see. I prefer to be a little more extemporaneous in my public speaking. So we are coming into the fall now, soon, hopefully. At least tired of the heat. Need the cooler weather. I'm over it. I don't live in hot places because I don't like them. Been there, done that. So with the fall comes a couple of really important things in scouting. Number one, I think many of you are probably already involved. Popcorn, right? We're knee deep now in popcorn season, right? So we have units, we have packs, we have troops, we have crews all over the district and council right now selling popcorn in your neighborhoods, in your schools, in your doctor's offices, and all that things, right? So it's really important we support popcorn, not just because it supports the youth individually, it helps the units, it helps the council as well, because we all get a little piece of the pie. So, you know, popcorn is something that's really important to support. I know we might all have some emotions and feelings about it, but at the end of the day, it is helpful to all of the layers of scouting in our area. So the popcorn season, right? Popcorn's also tasty. I like it. The other thing we do a lot in the fall is recruitment events, right? Because all of our schools are coming back into session. Some of them are starting now, some of them are starting next week, maybe even the week after. So this is a good opportunity as the kids are coming back to school to go into our schools and meet new potential scouts, right? We would like to continue to grow scouting in our communities. So I encourage all of you, if you have not planned a recruitment event in the fall, please plan a recruitment event. And if you guys are having issues, with coming up with material or supplies or ideas or people, or jokes or fingers,
Bodies.
Oh yeah. You can talk to Mark. Mark, in addition to or me, you can also talk to me, right? But Mark, in addition to being our assistant district commissioner for Roundtable, is also our membership chair for the district. So it's helping to coordinate these recruitment events with folks. Now, Mark cannot be at all the recruitment events. It's very important. And there's a very important reason for why we want the units to support their own recruitment events. Scouting's been around for a long time, right? 100, from our years, right? One of the things we figured out over the years recently is that if the council does a big recruitment event, we go to the mall, we come here to camp, we do all these games, all the activities, and all this excitement. Who cares? Because it's not centered in their community and for their children, for their schools, for their churches, whatever. So the absolute most effective recruitment events that we have found and we have been able to run have been recruitment events that are primarily run by a unit in a public facing place, like a school or at an existing like big community event. So it is really important for the units to be at those events and to run those events. You know, Mark will help you guys, give you some ideas, give you some hints, but it is vitally important in order for the units to grow, the units have to be there. And I will leave you with this because I know everybody's getting tired of sitting in these plastic folding chairs. Thank you all for everything you all are doing for scouting in our communities and in our area. So,
Thank you all. Okay, see you guys next month.